Live from the zombie apocalypse. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live 50th episode, huh? Isn't that incredible? 50 episodes. Man, that went fast. And what a good time we had. That was really great. How you doing? Vinny, what's up, man? Greg, what's happening? Good to see Robert in Scotland. What's up, bro? Thank you. Thanks, Nick. Nick Black Sabbath. Yo, Nick Black Sabbath, big show today. Right? Yeah, man. Hey, Mike Docs, what's up, bro? I know. Get your shoes and socks on, kids. It's right around the corner. Here we go. Rich Zoller, good to see everybody. Thalia, thank you, dear. I appreciate it. Michael, thank you. Lori Dawn, what's up? Thank you for reposting that, Lori. That was really nice. Andy, yeah, so look, who would have thunk it, right? Started the show like the second day. Once a couple people got bit and the zombies started roaming, I was like, man, we need some entertainment. And I started the show. So, and I've been really blessed. I'm blessed because people like yourselves watch and support the show and part of this great community that we have. And now we're going to be going for a while. There's no end in sight, kids. You know? There you go. No end in sight. Oh, Astoria Lou, my man. Good time on the beach yesterday in Rockaway. Yeah, I know. Well, it's not the zombies you got to worry about. You got to see all the crackheads out in the streets. Yeah, bro, I know. I live in the Upper West Side. I happen to know. Hey, Joe Snow. How are you, man? Here's to the next 50. Oh, wait. Oh, here we go. Are we doing this already? Sorry if people ask, but Paris, thanks for everything, Drew. Yo, Paris Mayhew ain't coming on my show. He's not interested. So let's not get right back into that. But this is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, and Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards. Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards are located in Lakewood, Colorado. It's the Rocky Mountain headquarters of all things punk, hardcore, and metal. Established in 2014, they have the largest selection of records, CDs, shirts, stickers, patches, and accessories, all in between Chicago and Los Angeles. From the pit to the ditch, they've got your back. Get in touch with them at www.chainreactionrecords.com. Also, Texas Silver Rush, Vinny Stigma's cousin, Joe Ramini, who we're going to have on the show soon. Texas Silver Rush is a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to create unique one-off pieces, as well as to style them for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rolle, Ringo Starr, and of course, Agnostic Front. During this current pandemic, all information and online sales are being taken on their Facebook and Instagram pages, and of course at www.texassilverrush.com. In the meantime, let's get crack-a-lackin'. Let me see if there's anything else I need to know. Keith Bennett, what's up in Boston? Good looks on the Don Airey episode. Nice change of pace. You know, you want to hear something funny? Thanks, Keith. I miss you, bro. And, you know, I post this thing around and, you know, you always got one or two guys like, yo, what does this have to do with New York hardcore? And like start up with that bullshit. It's like, come on, man. I don't know. Maybe this guy influenced somehow New York hardcore. Maybe you should watch the show and you'd find out. Or better yet, you don't watch the fucking show anyway. So what the fuck do you care? Jesus, man, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yo, people just like to hate. Trapped in a world full of hate. Welcome to the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Trapped in a world full of hate. You know? So, you know, there you go. Anyway, let's get crack-a-lackin' here. Let's go, right? Let's go. Steve Messina, what's up, man?
How's everything going? Congratulations on 50.
Yeah, you too, bro.
50. We went a long way with this one.
We did, bro. You and me, man. We're the ones that got this thing going, and your help. What are you in it? What are you, a train conductor today? What's going on over there? What's going on?
I'm in a quiet conductor's cab here. It's air conditioned. My phone was overheating outside, and this is priority one this episode. So,
Jesus.
yeah,
All
let
right.
me tell you.
Okay.
So,
let's do
picture of the day.
Let's do picture of the
for
day.
the 50th time.
Wow, Scam Dust. What's up, Scam?
Wow.
Yeah, bro. You know what I mean? Got to go nuts right away, Scam. You know? Picture of the day. Here we go. Let's see what you got in what you have in store for us for our special 50th show. Boom. Oh.
Yeah.
Good one. Good one. Well, hold on. Let me get rid of this banner. I know who this is. I know this one.
You better know who that one is. Take your license away.
Yeah, hold on. Wait. I want to put him on like full gazointen, like full screen gazointen blast.
There we go.
There you go. Nice shot, man.
That was, you know what? I mean, really, what can you say? Talk about a band that influenced hardcore.
Yeah.
I mean, influenced
I love that bass he's playing. Anybody out there? Keith Bennett, do you know? Is that, I know Keith Bennett, you know, Panzer Bastard. They're big. Keith, what kind of bass is that? Is that like a custom Rickenbacker? You know? The Ace of Spades. All right, so was this shot at Roseland, bro?
No, this is not Roseland. This is actually what are they calling it? They called it the theater under the garden.
Man. Speak up.
The theater under the garden.
Oh,
under
the garden?
Used to be the Felt Forum. It used to be.
Oh, they call it.
It was called.
It was the Paramount, right?
Right. I think it was just called the theater under the garden, and it was. This is 2012, and this was part of the Gigantour, which was Lacuna Coil, Volbeat, Motorhead, and the headliner being Megadeth.
Yeah, you sent me a. Hold on, you sent me a. I got a companion. I got a companion piece to that one. Hold on, let me find it. Pretty cool. Well, first off, we have. This is very cool. This is the set list from that night, right?
Oh yeah, there you go.
And I asked you, I was like, yo, what? This is I've seen Motorhead play many times, and like this is sort of an odd set list for them. And I was like, what show is this? Because it's not many songs, and the song selection, and there's not a lot of newer songs. So what year did you say this was?
This is 2012.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is 2012, and they were direct support to Megadeth. So
sure,
which terrible idea to go on after them.
Yeah, for sure.
And honestly, I think most of the people felt the same way. Like Motorhead's sound was like a fucking bulldozer, and Megadeth was like muddy. I mean, I was kind of disappointed with them that night.
Yeah, I can't. I wasn't there. I don't know, but there's another shot. Yo, nice guitar. Nice guitar playing. Is that a Dean? Is that what Mustaine plays? A Dean? That's nice, man. Nice guitar. Nice looking guitar. Nice looking guitar. You know what? How's this sound? Hold on. Nice looking guitar, but according to Steven, it sounds like shit.
Damn it, he's never coming on the show now.
Yeah, listen, extremely short. So, hey, Steen in Denmark, what's up? Yeah, you can't go on after Motorhead, man. That's rough, you know. What's this? Chucky. I remember getting into a fight with the dude and his wife. Ha ha ha. What a fucking brawl that was. Huh? I love when all the thug. I love when you put all of the thug. I remember that show. I got into a brawl at that show. Like, that's we have a strange collection of people that watch this show. It's like thugs, skinheads, criminals, dope fiends, and housewives.
Gypsies, tramps, and thieves.
Gypsies, tramps, and thieves. But yeah,
oh man,
good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Legendary. You know what? This is awesome. And Sid the Kid and Rat Bones, like we just made something really cool, and I'm so honored to be a part of this. And we have like royalty coming on today for me personally, and I just can't, can't say enough about it. And I got to thank you for making it happen, and you didn't waste a minute. I mean, from the second the doors of the A7 closed, you jumped right in.
Yeah, well, I have, I have ADD and I have to do things. If I don't do things, then my whole world comes crashing down. So I have to do something.
Exactly. You know what? And we're glad you did. I mean, look at this. We got friends we see every week all over the world.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And before I forget, I just want to say happy birthday to Jimmy G. And,
that's right.
I'll let you go do your thing now.
Hey, happy birthday, Jimmy G, for sure. And we'll catch up to you a little bit later. We got some of your pictures with our guest coming up too.
Yes.
Yep.
So
all right,
psyched
man.
for this.
I'll
see everybody later. You got it.
Wow. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, the Texas Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, and Organic Grill. Want to shout out Vladimir, who just checked in. Guys, congratulations. Great accomplishment. 50th episode. Great work. Great crew. Loving it. Hey, thanks, Vlad. Organic Grill is a vegan restaurant located at the East Village in New York City at 123 First Avenue. Featured in New York Magazine, the New York Times, and Veg News. Veg News. Hey, man, did you get the latest copy of Veg News? I have a write-up in it. Their dishes have won numerous awards, including Best Veggie Burger. They make their own cheeses, sausages, and burger patties, and every dish on the menu could be made gluten-free. This year, they are celebrating their 20th anniversary, and they are all about having a great time while enjoying amazing, clean food. After 3 months of being closed, they're now open for deliveries. Get in touch with them and order some great food at www.theorganicgrill.com. And I just munched out the other day on Organic Grill, and it was great. It was absolutely great. So there you go. What else we got crack-a-lacking? What's up with you, Rat Bones?
Happy 50th, everybody. This is
man.
Up, man. This is awesome.
Yep.
Big show today.
Yeah.
Yo, I want to thank everybody who's been coming out to the event on Saturday. Going to have another really big one this week coming up. It's been really cool. Thanks for coming out. I hope everybody comes out this week. It's going to be really cool. I got shit to pitch. I mean,
Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up with did you send me? Well, you sent me something pretty cool. What's up with this? Boom. What's up with that?
Boom. Well, there it is. The premiere of the new shirt from Pitwear from Rat Bones. That's an iconic photo by, I believe his name is Brian Burson, with the artwork done by my friend Kevin Sykes. And it's going to drop in September. I'm trying to get it to drop around my birthday, so I got something new to have, There's a new shiny new penny in my pocket, And, that's the new art, man.
People are asking about the vest. What's up with the vest, man?
Yeah, this is Stella made this vest for me. I had this a while.
Is that the Rat Bones action vest?
This is the one of a kind Rat Bones vest, but I guess we'll let this take us anywhere. Let's say happy birthday to Jimmy G.
Yep.
We'll do it all. We love Jimmy G. He gave me the patch from Japan. What's on this side? The Murphy's Law patch from Japan. On the vest. Got my artwork on the back.
All right.
I might as well.
Hey, Hoya's checking in. Hoya from Madball.
Nice.
Congrats on the 50th. Your episode drops tomorrow. Yeah, I did. For my episode that I did on Hoya's show, the Smoke and Word podcast is dropping tomorrow. Hoya, I love you, bro. You are a cornerstone of what makes New York Hardcore great, man. And thank you for supporting the show.
Hoya was a rocker. Always a banger with the big Hoya on.
So you're doing the Rat Bones flea market again this weekend on Saturday?
This will be the last time in the city. And then I think maybe I'm going to come on Sunday show live from the next spot at second time around out in Bushwick. Maybe I'll do a live and show people what they can expect from the 4th and 5th installment of Slumming in the City, presented by Rat Bones and Pitwear. It's basically just a pop-up, and a lot of people came last time, and I'm hoping this three's a charm and everybody comes out And don't forget, in 2 days, the No Redeeming is dropping.
Oh boy, big
New No Redeeming Social Value that has this really cool song on it.
Oh, what's the song called? Rat Bones.
What's up? What's up? So, that's pretty cool. I'm digging that. And, I got all kinds of new stuff coming, too. I got these back patches coming.
Oh, those are cool.
I'm trying to make
those.
The show has really helped me want to just, pick up the flavor,
Pick up the flavor. Don't pick it up.
Yeah, be firing. And I'm so excited for today's show. I got my...
Hold on, let me see. Is that your metal ring?
My metal ring and my metal wristband with the snakes.
Slave to the metal.
Mr. Airey is rock royalty,
Yeah, man. I'm excited, man. So hey, we'll bring you on. We'll bring you on to say hi to the Airey clan towards the end of the show. And thanks, man. You're a big part of what makes the show great, man.
Hey, just let me give them the address real quick for the event on Saturday.
Of course, go ahead.
26th Street between 8th and 9th Avenue, 1 to 7. It's going to be a blowout. So come on through if you're in the area, in the Manhattan area.
Get up, get down. I'll talk to you in a little while.
Later.
There you have it. The infamous Rat Bones. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles live, sponsored by the Texas Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, the Organic Grill, and of course, who's been with us the longest at this point, New York Hardcore Comics. New York Hardcore Comics opened back in 2013 when lifelong friends Debo the Pro and Lee Fairley combined their collections and obsessions for comic books, punk rock, toys, statues, magic, the gathering, and all things horror. The store is located at 117 Main Street in lovely Dobbs Ferry, New York. If you want to support them during this pandemic, because Lord knows there's a whole bunch more coming behind it, please contact them via email at newyorkhardcorecomics@gmail.com. All right. What else? Hey, I want to mention, for those that are not in the know, that there is a Patreon page out there. That is how people support this show. That's how people support me doing this show. There's different tiers of excitement. I'm releasing all kinds of never-before-seen footage and photos. I just released never-before-seen biohazard footage from 93, I think, and some AF stuff and Warzone and some outtakes from my film that's on Netflix right now. So go on there, check it out, Patreon. Be a patron on Patreon and support this show. Because everybody loves free shit, right? But, I can't exist on free shit. I got to keep the lights on in here so I look good on camera to you, right? But other than that, here we go. I know. You know what, Chris? I made a mistake when I put the show up. I put 3 a.m. instead of 3 p.m. by accident. And like I got an alert at 3 in the morning too that I was supposed to start the show, So here you go. Drew's been dropping shit every day, so go on and give her a couple of bucks. You take snail mail. Bro, I take anything. There's also, no, I don't take all money. I only take certain amounts of money, certain kinds of money. Also, there's a PayPal. There's a PayPal down there on PayPal, stone4124 at AOL.com, if that's what you're referring to as snail mail. But yeah, I take snail mail, sure. Whatever that means. You want to go into your parents' you want to go into your mom's purse and pull out a couple of the green pieces of paper with presidents on it and mail it to me? Please. Dollar bills in the mail. There you go. So there you go. Yeah, the two, exactly. Where did I just see that? The $2 tier is almost free anyway, you cheap fucks. Christ almighty. So anyway, hey, Whitney, how you doing? Hitting the wine early. Okay, good. Good. So that said, let me clear the deck. Let me clear the deck here, and let's bring on our guest for the big 50th show. Let me get rid of all this other jazunk. Come on. There you go. Woo! All right. Whew. Let me just make sure everybody okay out there? Everybody, Gina, Scam? Yep, 3 a.m., right. I know. Some people wish I did the show at 3 a.m., right? Bitcoin. Yeah, no, don't send me your Bitcoin shit. I'm not buying into that. The whole world's collapsing. Don't send me your Bitcoin shit, you know? All right, so here we go. Very excited about today's guests. We got a special guest coming on, but let's cut right to the bone here, as we say. Today's guest is an English keyboardist who has had an incredibly proficient career, having played with Ozzy Osbourne, Rainbow, Gary Moore, Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, Jethro Tull, Whitesnake, Saxon, Thin Lizzy, Cozy Powell, Brian May, Michael Schenker, Katrina in the Waves, Andrew Lloyd Webber, and many others. In 2001, he joined Deep Purple and has played on their last 5 studio recordings, including a new album, Whoosh, that just came out last week. Please welcome, and we are absolutely honored to have him on the show, Mr. Don Airey. What's happening, man?
Hi, Drew. How are you doing? Greetings from sunny England.
Yeah, how's things in England, man?
Yeah, hot.
You know,
we're not used to it, you know. But,
yeah, is it like that 2-week period where it's actually hot in England?
Yeah, 35 degrees today.
Wow, that's 85?
Yeah, no, it's 90.
Oh,
96. Yeah.
It's like that, huh?
Yeah.
Wow,
Getting up there.
that's incredible. Hey, so let's get right into it, and then we're gonna bring your son on, and we're gonna bring a special guest, Lou Kohler from Sick of It All. But let's talk a little bit first. Like, how did you get into music? Did you grow up in a musical home? Like, how did music come into your orbit?
Well, everybody used to have a piano in their front room, you know, and we were no exception. I mean, I was one of 5 children, and we had this beautiful old piano. My father played, my mother played, and they just suddenly realised I started playing when I was 3, which excited my old man quite a bit.
Wow,
and,
3, huh?
Yeah, so I started going for lessons when I was 6, but classical, you know. So
Yeah.
I came right to the classical thing. I mean, I grew up with the Beatles and the Stones and, you know, the Animals, all that kind of thing. That was the music of my teenage years.
But
so
that was
while I was playing Mozart and Chopin, I was also out at weekends with a local band playing, you know, the Animals or Beatles or the Kinks. Kinks were the biggest band in Sunderland, my hometown. Everybody was crazy.
And what hometown? Where did you grow up? What town?
A place called Sunderland, which is just south of Newcastle, where Sting comes from. And,
right.
It's up in the northeast. You know, cold and windy, and
the northeast,
right by the sea. You know,
right.
Which is why finding a day like today quite difficult. You know,
right, for sure. I guess in that era, or I think it's something I sort of associate with kind of UK homes, is like you said, there was always a lot of families had pianos in the front room per se. I think that was part of the culture back then, right?
Yeah, it was. And when I think back, nearly everybody had one. And the great thing about the front room is you never went in there. You know, it was kept immaculate.
Right.
For reasons I didn't understand, but it was the same in every house. You know, you ate in the kitchen or the dining room, but you didn't go in the lounge. Unless you wanted to play the piano.
That's right. I can relate to that because here, you know, I grew up in Queens, New York, and I had you know, Jewish grandparents that came from the old country, and we had that room also, and everything was covered in plastic. You know, all you know, the plastic covering on the couch and everything, and you couldn't even go in the room and sit down. You know, it was almost like a shrine. And I think Italians, it's an Italian thing also with the furniture covered in the plastic, you know.
Yeah.
But you went to University of Nottingham, right?
Yeah. I studied. I've got a university degree, and in English literature and music. So what a lot of good that did me.
Yeah.
It's funny, we had a gig in Tel Aviv and we had a few days off. So
Oh, nice.
And we were in a pub called Molly Malone's, and somebody said to me, "Who's Molly Malone?" And I said, "Oh, she's a character in James Joyce's Ulysses." So they looked at the menu and said, "Oh, you've looked at the menu?" I said, "No, I knew it." "Well, how do you know that?" I said, "Because I've got a degree in English literature." And I said, "And this is the first time it's ever come in useful."
In the pub.
In the pub, yeah. Many years later.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you enjoy playing in Israel?
Israel, yeah. Oh, great. Yeah. It's an amazing place, especially Tel Aviv. It's a very, well, it was a very vibrant place.
Yeah, I just shot part of my new film. My new film I shot in the Middle East, and I spent a lot of time in Tel Aviv. And Tel Aviv is a nice city. It reminds me of Brooklyn. It's like Brooklyn,
Yeah. It's very much.
Yeah. When you I'm sorry, go ahead.
You're from Queens, did you say?
I'm born and raised in Queens, New York. Yep. Yeah. Born and raised in Queens and grew up in Manhattan and in the Bronx, and I studied acting in Boston, and then I got into music and film, and my dad, that's why there's a lot of parallels with me and my father and Mike and you, so a lot of parallels, and we'll talk about that when Mike comes on. But so when you didn't study under Rizart, I don't how do you pronounce Boxed?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, he was a Polish. He was a heavy.
He was serious, man. I was terrified of him. He was Polish, and I think they'd thrown him out of Poland for some the fact he was Jewish.
That'll do it back then.
And he ended up in Manchester, actually, and I went to music college for a year after I left Nottingham, just to study piano. So he taught me. He really knocked me into shape, I have to say. I wouldn't have done what I've done, but for his intervention, teaching me how to play properly. But God, he was tough.
Yeah, I hear he was quite a disciplinarian.
Yeah, you'd think he was some kind of gangster or something. But after about 3 months of lessons, things were starting to go well. He said, "Oh, very good. Come with me. So we went to the pub. "Well, what do you want to drink?" I said, "Oh, pint." So he bought 2 pints of Guinness, and I had a pint of bitter, and he drank them both. And then he went and got 3 pints of Guinness, and he bought me another pint. And he drank 5 pints of Guinness while I drank 2 pints of bitter. Then he went back to go and teach. He was a phenomenal man.
But he was an incredibly proficient teacher. You look at his his students and who sort of went through his mill. It's incredible.
Paul Lewis is his great success. To think that I was taught by the same guy that taught Paul Lewis, that's quite something.
Hey, well, there you go. So when after college and after you studied with him, were you playing in? I mean, in lack of a better term, we'll call them rock bands. I was on
the nightclub scene.
Tell us about that.
I was in a couple of little bands. 3 and 4 piece, and you were booked to back the acts, the turns. There were singers and comics and jugglers and all kinds of people booked into these clubs, and a lot of them were top notch. So you had to be on the ball. You had to be able to read music and get the hang of things very quickly. So it was great training, And eventually, we were playing some club, and there was a London agent there, and he came up to me. He said, "What are you guys doing on Sunday?" I said, "Oh, we got a day off." He said, "Do you fancy going on an ocean liner? We need a band on a ship." So I said, "We'll do it." So that was it. We headed for Southampton, and went on a 2-month voyage, and that really was the start of my career. First real professional gig.
And that was before you started playing with Cozy Powell?
Yeah. Well, I did.
Because Cozy Powell was really sort of the first. That was really the first sort of known band that you kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I worked on ships and clubs and made enough money to buy a house in my hometown. Quite a big one. So I came home and got a bit bored. So, much to my mother's distress, I went down to London and started playing in a club there. And Cozy came into the club, and I kind of recognised him, but he was looking at me funny, like I'd stolen his girlfriend or something. So I went up and said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "I know you're Cozy Powell, aren't you?" He said, "Yeah." So he said, "We're looking for a keyboard player. Do you want the job?" I said, "I'll have to sleep on it." Yes. So that was the start of a great, great partnership between me and him, great friendship. He was an amazing guy.
You played with him. You played with him through the years in many different bands, including, Rainbow, right? And he turned up. You played with him. You met back up with him many times through the years.
Yeah. Oh, he was a lovely guy.
Yeah.
He was very multi-talented. He could have been a racing driver.
Is that right?
I mean, he used to race cars, and everybody was saying this guy's so good he could end up in Formula One, but he chose to stay in music. So that's the kind of guy he was. He didn't go on about it. You kind of find out later, how highly people in the motor racing business thought of him.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And
I think his band was paid for by our racing team, actually.
Is that right? that early on?
I think it was financed to a certain extent by whoever the big wheels were that were running his racing team. Yeah.
It's funny because I feel like as sort of a from the other side of the pond, you played in the band was called Cozy Powell's Hammer, right? Yeah. And back then you had kind of like drummers who you had like, Ginger Baker's Air Force and Cozy Powell's Hammer. And, back then, there was a moment there where drummers really came to the forefront,
Yeah, it only lasted a minute though. No, of course I was in Coliseum too which was John Heisman's Coliseum.
Right, that's right. And Coliseum is really where you hooked up with Gary Moore, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, I'd seen Gary playing when I first went to London. I went to the Marquee to watch him. I'd heard a lot about him, and God, he was amazing, And I met him. No, I'd hired my gear to a tour manager, and he said that there's a band auditioning keyboard players. And I was going on holiday, so I hired them some gear. So I went to pick it up, and I walked through the door, and I looked at them and thought, "God, it's Gary Moore and John Heisman." And John Heisman said, "Can we help you?" I said, "Yeah, that's my keyboards. I've come to pick them up." So he said, "Can you play those things, Sonny?" I said, "Yeah, a bit." So I sat down. We had a jam for about 3 hours, and I got the job. And I was the 53rd keyboard player they tried. 53rd, So whether they were just desperate, they eventually took anybody. But that was an amazing band. John was a very great influence. Last time I saw Gary Moore, Gary said to me, we were very lucky to be in a band with John Heisman, wow. At that stage in our careers, just when you're getting it together and have someone to work with someone that good as John was. Yeah.
Yeah. And I watched some footage today when I was doing my homework, and wow. Yeah. And it also Gary Moore looked like he was really enjoying himself. He really looked like he was really young, vibrant, and loving what you guys were doing.
He was amazing. The energy that came out of that guy was just incredible.
Yeah.
As soon as the guitar hit his body, he was off.
Yeah.
And you just tried to hang on to him. It was very difficult. I mean, he was quite a difficult person in many ways, but, he was such an incredible musician. There's someone, him and Cozy gone,
And but you went on and you played with Gary Moore on many of his records. Did you tour with him too?
Yeah, I toured with. We had a band in '83 that went to Japan. What's it? Corridors of Power.
Mm-hmm.
I was in that band for a year, I think, with Ian Pace on drums, actually.
Oh wow!
And it was an amazing band, actually. And then, when he got still got the blues together, he was getting his blues out. Mm-hmm. He gave me a call, so I came in and I kind of was the musical director for it. I set up the numbers, got the musicians in, did all the string arrangements. It was nobody expected it to be the hit it was. It was like a side project, but luckily for Gary, it went platinum.
Yeah, he was a real another. I mean, a lot of you guys, there's a lot of overlap
yes.
with a lot of the players from Black Sabbath and Deep Purple and Gary Moore and and on and on. There's and the drummers and there's a lot of overlap. With you guys, and
we all move around a little bit incestuous.
Yeah, for sure. And it seems so. In the 70s, in the mid 70s, you were doing a lot of session work, and one of the records you played on, which I gave another listen to today, which is an interesting record, is that Black Sabbath "Never Say Die" record.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I got the call for that. I was a bit apprehensive. Sabbath had an incredible reputation for being hooligans, and Tony Iommi was famous for hitting a couple of journalists who had displeased him. So I took my gear in and went in, and they were just the nicest people in the world. Ozzy, I'd met Ozzy before. I met him in a car park in Birmingham, and he remembered. And that was the start of my long association with Ozzy.
Mm-hmm.
But I was only in the studio 2 or 3 days with Sabbath. But it was an amazing session. Yeah.
You know what was interesting? I was listening to this stuff, and the song on that record, Johnny Blade.
Johnny Blade. Yeah.
It really, in a certain way, it reminded me. It's sort of the precursor to sort of the intro you play for Mr. Crowley. It sort of reminded me. A little parallel there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was funny that they said, "Oh, can you do an intro to this track, Johnny Blade?" So I had this amazing keyboard called a CS80. It was a great big Yamaha polyphonic synth, wonderful instrument. And I just went out and played something, and they said, "Oh, that's great, come in." So I thought, well, that's the last I'll hear of that then. But I was surprised when they used it. It was just played it straight off the bat, kind of thing. But I love that track.
That's probably that's the standout track on the record.
Oh, wonderful piece.
I mean, records are interesting because, and they're like, and I can relate in the regard of making films is, all the pain and agony and stress and bullshit that goes on into sometimes, making these things. Years later, for someone that didn't live it or wasn't around it, they look at it totally unbiased, and even on here, there's a couple people that are saying, "Never Say Die" was a classic, and this and that, and it's just interesting what the shifting sands of time, the perspective that'll give people, right?
I mean, there was definitely trouble afoot in the band, at that time with Ozzy. I remember Bill Ward saying to me that Ozzy was very troubled and they couldn't control him, and nobody quite knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, that's sort of the record that blew apart that band for.
Yeah. But you wouldn't have known it really.
Oh, really?
I mean, it was so funny. It was like going into somebody's front room, so to speak, going into the studio with them. They were so relaxed, and it was a family. It was a family. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I think that not just then, but with bands, and looking back on that era, there's a lot of drugs and alcohol around, and drugs and alcohol will just destroy everything in the end. in
Well,
excess.
as soon as I went in the studio, Ozzy said to me, "Would you like a cup of tea?" So I said, "Oh, yes, please."
I mean, those guys. I mean, when you think about it, that record was done in 1978. And that was sort of the heyday of that sort of, rock star in excess and
Yeah.
and all that. So,
It was the time when they used to work the bands, into the ground.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't like the orderly business it is today. It was very much done from week to week.
Mm.
So you could be playing in Fresno, California one day and then down Birmingham, Alabama 2 days later. Everybody went everywhere by plane with the gear loaded into the hold. So, I mean, sometimes Sabbath were doing, 3 weeks, 21 gigs in 3 weeks.
Oof.
It would just, management going, put them there, with no thought of what it was doing to the band.
Yeah, they say, that's what ran Jimi Hendrix into the ground, is his manager, and they had him. They just, you look at the kind of shows he was playing, and and back then you guys played like 2-3 shows sets a day, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Rainbow, could you tell us about? Once again, it's sort of that incestuous scene, right? You already knew these guys for the most part, and then how'd you get involved with Rainbow?
Oh, through Cozy. Cozy just phoned me up and said, "You're coming to New York tomorrow." That was what he said. No arguments. So I got on the plane. Okay, then, and got New York. I was taken straight to the rehearsal studio, 7:00 at night, and met Richie. And it was just me, Richie, and Cozy. That's the only people that were there. A funny thing I saw as I went in, I saw Ronnie Dio come out the door. It was like a revolving door into the rehearsal studio, and Ronnie came out. I thought, oh, that's Ronnie Dio. Never saw him again. Because I said to Richie a couple of days later, I'm sure I saw Ronnie going out. Yeah, I did. Is he coming back? No, I don't think so.
Wow. That was it. That was it for him, huh?
Yeah, but it was just really getting down to earth together. It was just me, Richie, and Cozy sitting in this place. We'd rehearse all day. It was a wonderful experience.
That's a good friend, Cozy Powell, for him to just call you and say, "Hey, mate, I'm on." That's a good friend.
I think it worked out very well.
Yeah.
But same thing, they ran us into the ground, the management. It was. So by the end of 3 years, I was like, I wasn't fit to be tied up, really.
And those Rainbow days, right? You'd record a record and then go on the road, and then go right back and record a record and go on the road, right?
Very quick.
Oof.
I think we did Down to Earth took a time, but Difficult to Cure was done very quickly.
And that was Graham Bonnet singing, right?
Yeah. We found him.
Yeah. What's the story? What's the Graham Bonnet story?
Well, we didn't have a singer, so we're making an album in studio in France, and Cozy used to play a little game, guess the single. He'd play a little bit on his tape recorder, and you had to guess. And he played Only One Woman by the Marbles, which is Graham when he was 19, and nobody got it. And oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, wonder what happened to him. So we got the management onto it. They found him in Australia, and they flew him over to France.
Wow.
And of course, Graham didn't have a clue about Deep Purple. He didn't know who Richie was or any of us. He was kind of, he was an insular kind of showbiz kind of singer.
That's interesting.
So I gave him a tape of Mistreated, and sat with him, and he said, yeah, I get the hang of it. So
that's Mistreated. That's Deep Purple Mistreated. That is sung by Coverdale and Glenn Hughes, correct?
Right. So So we get ready, and Richie said, "What's he learning?" I said, "Mistreated." Okay. So Graham comes down the stairs to the studio, white as a sheet. He was obviously quite nervous, and he must have been the 8th singer or something we'd auditioned in the studio, So we started off, da 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 da. Graham goes, "I've been miss." 3 syllables in, he had the gig.
Wow.
Cozy went like that. Richie went.
Right.
It was awesome. He didn't even have the mic on.
He was something else, and also good. I'm sure being the musical director, good song to put in front of him, because that is like that's really, if you could cut it and you could deliver on that, then that's
Oh, happy days over.
Yeah, and the record you played on after that, Difficult to Cure, that had a different singer. That was Joel Turner, right?
Different singer, different drummer. It was a different kettle of fish, as we say in England. But
wow.
I mean, it wasn't too bad, but we went from, we played Donington Festival, and what a triumph, and Cozy and Graham left the band straight after the festival. I was devastated. Why are you leaving? Nobody could understand.
Where was Graham Bonnet going?
I don't know. He went to join Michael Schenker, actually. But,
oh, you're right.
Yeah, but
eventually Alcatraz. He was eventually in Alcatraz.
Yeah, which was a great band, of course.
Yeah. That was Yngwie and then Steve Vai. Yeah.
I'm just working with Graham again, actually.
Is that right?
Doing a bit for him on his new album. Yeah. He's not making an Alcatraz album. He's making a Graham Bonnet album.
Right.
Which is, watch out. God, he's still a talent. Still an amazing singer.
It's incredible. Some of these guys, keep still sound great, Yeah,
it was funny with him. He lost his voice. And, I saw him a couple of times. He was struggling. And eventually he just, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, he just went, I've had it. He just gave up. And his voice came back. He decided to retire, and suddenly he could sing again. And amazing.
Glenn Hughes is another guy who still has an incredible voice, man.
Oh, yeah, Glenn's.
Like really, wow.
I did the John Lord concert with him at the Albert Hall. He was in on that, and he came into rehearsal, and there's a full orchestra and Deep Purple playing, and you could hear Glenn coming through the door, joining in with the song, above all this racket. His voice, way. Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing, man. I did some stuff with him once with Tony Iommi that never came out, which is a shame.
So at a certain point, I guess the Rainbow thing plays out, and then you get I know you did some studio work with Ozzy. Of course, you played on the Blizzard of Oz record, Mr. Crowley, and then later on you joined the band. Tell us a little bit about playing on the iconic Blizzard of Oz record, and then you joined the band later on.
Well, they'd asked me to join the band, but I said no. I'm with Rainbow, so I can't really. And Bob Daisley was going, "We've got this amazing guitar player." I said, "Oh, good for you." And anyway, I went down to the studio. I just said I'll do it as a favor to Ozzy, and took all my gear and heard all this wonderful music. And this young guy playing guitar, I was just entranced by it. And I forget what track I started off with, something simple.
There you go. That's a scary bunch.
Yeah, look at that. Hey. And then they played me Crazy Train. I said, doesn't need anything. Doesn't need keyboards on that. Oh, okay then. So we got to Mr. Crowley, and I just sent them all out the room. I said, give me half an hour and I'll write an intro. So that's what I did. And they came back and Ozzy said, it's like you plugged into my head. I said, okay, we'll keep that one then.
Wow.
Not thinking very much about it.
And that's got, that intro is You still play that intro in Deep Purple. I saw Deep Purple play not too long, and there's sort of an interlude where you sort of do your signature. Do I remember that?
Do a little bit of it. I've also got a little statue of Ozzy on top. There was a present from Steve Morse's guitar tech. Michael Berger. He gave me this little statue of Ozzy that talks, if you put a battery in. And it's been on top of my Leslie's now for 12 years. It just seems to survive. So and of course, sometimes when the camera closes in on me, the camera's on the live show, suddenly it'll catch up. And there'll be a great big thing of this Ozzy doll. It's only about that big, but it come out full size on the screen. The camera operators like it.
So for those that may not be in the know, because somebody just chimed in and said, I was lost until Ozzy. Well, now for those that sort of aren't as deep as we are on this history, for those who may not, from left to right there, that's Rudy Sarzo. And of course, that's our guest, Mike Airey. And there's Ozzy with a lot of black eyeliner on and the codpiece. And there is Randy Rhodes. And there is the infamous Tommy Aldridge, right? I mean, that must have been great playing with Tommy Aldridge. He was something else.
Yeah, I'd worked with Tommy with Gary Moore. So I know Tommy quite well. Yeah, he was a big friend. Yeah. Yeah,
I saw him recently. I saw Whitesnake play recently.
Oh, really?
And he was playing in Whitesnake.
He's an amazing drummer.
Yeah.
Amazing person too.
So here's another shot from that era, and looks like you're having a good time, but not to get into it too deeply, but Randy Rhodes isn't in this picture. That's Brad Gillis, and sadly Randy Rhodes passed away in a tragic accident a little bit before that. And any memories of Randy Rhodes or anything resonates all these years later?
Well, yeah, I think about Randy a lot. He was an amazing guitar player. He had a great sense of humor as well. He used to carry a little television around with him, and if the conversation lulled in the restaurant or something, he'd just get the telly out and plug it into the nearest mains and start watching cartoons. He was also great. I remember a hotel once. I saw a chair floating past my window. I was on the 16th floor, and this kind of lounge chair went past with a blanket over the top, acting as a parachute. And I could hear this squeal from above from Randy. It's worked. He'd kind of thrown this thing out the window to see if it would work as a parachute. Very dangerous, actually. And we got thrown out of the hotel. But there was, he was a mischievous guy. Yeah.
And a real pioneer guitar player. And
what a wonderful player.
And I hate to bring this up because that's not what this show's about, but is it true that you were really the only person that really saw the actual accident?
No, there were two or three of us. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Things like that, man, rock and roll on the road, and man, that must have been absolutely horrifying.
Something that happens to other people, you think, and then it happens to you. Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. That's.
Where is Mike Airey then? You just mentioned.
Yeah. We're gonna. So let's move it on here. Let's go to the next level. And let me just tell everybody, you're watching the New York Hardcore Chronicles live, sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, Texas Silver Rush, and Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards. Our guest today is the incredible Don Airey. We're about to bring on his son, Mike Airey, as well as Lou Kohler from Sick of It All. So let me just, let's get that rolling. And next up, Don's son, coming all the way from across the house, Mr. Mike Airey. What's up, buddy?
How you going? You all right?
I'm good, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's great. And you're out there with your dad, right?
Yeah, we're out in Cambridgeshire, just about 50 miles north of London. So,
buddy, I think he means like that. You work for the band now.
Oh yeah. No, I'm out on the road.
No, actually, no.
Oh, you didn't.
I didn't. I didn't. But first off, let's see that shirt you're wearing, Mike. What's up with that shirt?
Oh, that's from my friend Danny
Represent,
Diablo.
bro. Represent. See? Who knew it? Mike Airey, lover of New York hardcore. So, but yeah, you know, while we're here, well, let's talk about it. You work with your dad. You go out on the road. You tell us a little bit about what you do out there with your dad.
Yeah, I work as his keyboard tech, so I look after all his keyboards, set up the Hammonds and all the synths we've got. I also work as like the stage manager as well, so in charge of the crew and loading the trucks, etc. Work for a few other bands, kind of including kind of like Rival Sons. I do guitar and bass for them. Quite a few German artists as well. So basically, whoever will pay me, I'm more willing to go out and work.
You're a real mercenary. And
so that's the rig. The picture there, that's the rig. That's basically that's the main. We've got kind of 3 versions of that. Kind of an A rig, a B rig, and a C rig. So it's quite in depth. There's quite a lot going on there. Yeah,
there sure is. What's the difference between the A, B, and C rig? Is it depending on the size of the venue?
It used to be. It was kind of like the older the stuff got, it kind of worked its way down to the C rig. But we've now kind of, it's basically the same in every rig. It just means that we keep like one rig in North America, one in Europe, and then the others just for like fly dates. You know, if we're doing like one-off shows that we can't get the stuff into.
Got it.
Yeah.
I guess you have. I guess it makes sense. Of course, sometimes you have to leapfrog equipment over each other, and you know get stuff there beforehand. You know,
well, it's just the cost of. I mean, you think when you go on holiday or whatever, what you pay for a bag. If you've got, the gear we're shipping around, it's a lot of weight. You know, so to fly the stuff, it costs an absolute fortune. So if we can keep one in North America and one. So when you use that for Canada, it's, South America, etc. So it's just to keep costs down, really. But
so we're going to take a couple of questions. We're going to bring Lou on in a second. But a question from our friend Lenny from Crazy Eddie, and both of you can really answer this. How temperamental is the B3 organ to travel around to drag around the world?
Well, I can answer. So when I first started, there was the original B3 organ that was John's. And that was a great learning curve because it basically broke every day. There was an issue with it, so it was great for me because obviously there's no one you can turn around and go, oh, who's going to fix this? It's down to you. So you had to really. My learning curve kind of went like this. So, and then a few years later, we got these new. They're actually A100s. So it was a guy called John Harbury in Westport, Connecticut, actually. He used to buy them up from churches or like old ladies that had them sitting in the house. He'd buy them and chop them basically, so it travels in a much smaller case.
I see.
And much, from my point of view, a lot easier because they've been around for a while now and obviously dragged around the world multiple times. So that things go wrong, daily. But these ones, touch wood, are pretty good.
I like this. Posh Bastard says. Those Leslie cabs are cool as fuck unless you got to lift one,
Yeah. I'll second that.
and this is our good friend and supporter, Mark Tulch, up in Canada, the Moog Voyager for the win.
That's a great. Well, I mean,
is that the Voyager on the right, on top, on the right in that picture?
Yeah, it's above the piano. There's a Kurzweil piano.
I see.
Wow. There's quite a bit of stuff you can't see, which is in a rig, but the Kurzweil. The Kurzweil PC3 piano drives the synth that's on top of the organ as well, and then it goes to a rack, and there's 4 more rack keyboards there. So it's quite a complex setup. I think Mike has 104 connections to make every day to set everything up. So it's
and Don, give us a little take on the pedals down there that I see.
There's I forget.
They change every week, don't worry.
Yeah, what's that?
Well, there's a reverb pedal for the Hammond. Yeah, as Mike says, when he's finished this, he's going to open a little store selling my Reverb pedals because I buy one every other day, thinking this will be the one, but it never is. And,
What? Sorry.
There's the organ goes through a ring modulator. It goes to the Leslie separately, but there's a jack output that goes to a guitar amp, a 100-watt guitar amp as well. So it goes through a ring modulator and through a reverb, and you can do all kinds of stuff with that. You know, crazy, mad stuff. You know.
One last question here before we bring Lou on. What happened to John Lord's Hammond?
It's sitting in a warehouse, and it has been for about the last 15 years, I think.
No, it fell off a plane in Sochi in Russia.
Oof.
Well, that was the start of it, yeah.
We were doing a festival there, and it came in a big Russian plane, Antonov, I think, and the crew went, not our crew, but the Russians went and just pushed it off the plane without the ramp being there. You know, they forgot there was no ramp, so this poor thing dropped about 15 feet. You know, crash onto its end.
Oh.
It kind of worked for the gig, kind of. I mean, we had to. I think, Mike, didn't you wrench it or something? You wrenched the frame and it all fell out.
Yeah, I mean, we managed to get it working, basically. It was a show. It was only like, it was a small show in Russia with like 240,000 people, I think.
Wow.
With this thing, I could just see everything going wrong and couldn't do anything. You know, there was only so much you can do during the show. So that wasn't one of the most pleasant experiences of my life.
Oof. Yeah. Hey, let's bring a friend of ours on here. Of course, he plays in really arguably one of the biggest and well-known, not just New York hardcore bands, but hardcore bands in the world. He too is a Queens native. Let's bring on Mr. Lou Kohler. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, Lou.
Okay.
Hi,
Nice to see you, man.
Mr. Airey. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Not you,
too.
Mike. I met you.
Sorry.
Everyone's met Mike everywhere we go.
Yeah, listen.
Hi, Mike.
Yeah, big
I'm
fan.
just-
Go ahead, Lou.
I was just saying, I'm just pretty much here to fan out, you know.
Well, you come to the right place today,
All right.
buddy. Lou, let's talk just real quick, because you know what? I got to tell the story. Let me tell the story real quick about how I really connected with all these guys for everybody out there that's watching around the world. A couple of years ago, I was doing some background vocals on one of the Sick of It All records, right, out in Staten Island. I'm not sure if this was it the last one or one before it. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but I was out. I was out there, you know, because just so people know, you know, when it's time, when Sick of It All, when it's time to do the background vocals, you know, there's a short list of the pros that they call in to do the background vocals. You know, because my resume is really long, Biohazard. You know, I'm a pro background vocal guy. So I'm out there in Staten Island, and there's a break. We're doing background vocals, and I'm standing on the patio, and this guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, you know, I'm a big fan of your films. I love the films you've done." And I start talking to him, and he introduces himself as Mike, and we're talking a little bit. And I say, "Hey, what do you do?" He says, "Well, I work for Deep Purple." I say, "You work for Deep Purple? What do you do for Deep Purple?" I said, "Yeah, you know, stage manager, keyboard, set up keyboard." I said, "Really? How's that?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "My dad's Don Airey." I said, "No shit." I said, "All right." And, you know, so we sort of, that's the New York hardcore connection here, is that I met Mike doing background vocals for the fucking Sick of It All record.
That's good. See, we bring people together.
So Lou, give us a little take, you know, growing up in New York City, you know, you were really influenced by a lot of this kind of stuff. Can you give me a little take?
I mean, in our neighborhood, I have two older brothers. Me and Pete have two older brothers, and you know, through them we got into a lot of music. And of course, it was you know, Sabbath and Deep Purple and all the bands. And I remember Rainbow being a big one. So you know, and it's all of that. You know, really we got our experience from our older brothers, but the music was, you know, universal in our neighborhood. Everybody listened to it, you know. It was awesome.
You didn't see the gig at the Beacon Theatre, did you?
No. Oh, which
No.
one? Wait, which
Rainbow.
No, my older brothers went. I was too young.
79, yeah.
Yeah, my parents wouldn't let me go.
It's funny because the day before it was Thanksgiving Day, and I was supposed to meet up with Cozy, but he'd gone off somewhere. So I went to this restaurant on my own and sat down, and the restaurant had a lot of guys in it, but all sitting on their own. And I said to the waiter, "What's happening?" He said, "They're all guys who've got divorced recently, and they can't, access their family or their kids, so they come out and celebrate Thanksgiving on their own." So I suggested, well, let's get a table together and everybody will all have dinner together. So we did that, and they all came to the gig.
Oh, that's awesome.
I got them backstage, but some of them were so badly behaved. They'd never been backstage before. Oh my God, what have I done?
That's amazing.
Hey Lou, one thing that I love about you guys too is you guys never swore off these bands. There's a lot of guys that kind of came up and disowned their past, but you guys really took Sick of It All. Really, you took a lot of these influences and incorporated it into what you were doing.
Yeah, as much as we could,
Yeah, but in
on a much less talented scale. Yeah.
I mean, Mike has been a big fan for 25 years.
Yeah.
Sick of It All. I remember he played me something. Dad, I've got to educate you. You've got to learn about this new music. I said, I quite like that. Who's it by? He said, Sick of It All. I said, Sick of It All? That's no kind of name. It's a great
awesome.
name.
Oh,
it's great.
Thanks.
It's when worlds collide.
Yeah. I must have.
Go ahead, Lou.
I was going to say I must have seen you. You toured with Ozzy too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because me and my brother Pete went to every Ozzy show from Blizzard of Oz through Diary of a Madman through what was the other one, Speak of the Devil or something like that. The live one.
Bark at the Moon. No.
Well, the live one, Speak of the Devil.
Speak of the Devil.
I wasn't on. I don't think I was on Speak of the Devil, but I was on Diary of a Madman and Bark at the Moon.
Yeah.
Oh,
did you
great.
do that?
I've got the medals.
Did you do the tours? Did you do the Blizzard of Oz tour?
I did some of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I came in towards the end. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember when they first came around, they played the Palladium in New York. And then, 6 months, 8 months later, they were doing Madison Square Garden and Nassau Coliseum, and we went to every show we could.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I want to take this opportunity here. I want to play something real quick that I have, that just a quick little clip, because I know, people love this stuff. So here we go. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely me.
Do you still have the cloak?
God.
Yeah. Did you have to wear the cowl? Was it mandatory? You had to wear the cowl?
Yeah, we're all costumed up,
Yeah.
The best one was at Madison Square Gardens, where by this time I was on a rising platform that had organ pipes, and
I saw that.
I come up second number, so I started Mr. Crowley, up we came, and somehow the power lead got caught in the mechanics of the riser, and all the power came off, and the riser came to a halt halfway up with my head just over the parapet and swaying dangerously. And
my God.
And some of the organ pipes dropped off and it hit my roadie.
Oh.
And he eventually got the plug back in and we went up the top. But by this time, all the keyboards had gone out of tune. So I made the most dreadful, finishing off Mr. Crowley. It was the most dreadful racket you've ever heard.
Was Carmine Appice playing drums?
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah,
I saw that show at Madison Square Garden. I think, if I remember correctly, I think Motley Crue might have opened up.
Yeah, it was Motley.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was their first big tour. That was their first big tour. Yeah,
I was there. I saw
lovely boys.
That's really...
Vince was the first person I ever met that called everybody dude. I'd never heard that before. He was from Redondo Beach, and he spoke a language. I had to learn it.
That's amazing.
A whole nother
way of thinking.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk a little bit about Deep Purple a second, Don and Mike. And Don, I guess when this whole thing hit, you guys were ready. I think, were you out on the road? And how did this affect the plans in the future?
We've just moved everything on to next year. Same time next year kind of thing.
Right.
But let's hope it's going to work out. I mean, the album came out on Friday, and that's kind of what I've been busy doing. Doing a few phoners and interviews and talking to journalists, and it's not the same as being out on the road playing. Now that's for sure. Yeah.
Do you
only finding out what marriage is about, though? Finally, after all these years,
Lou, your marriage is intact. The road hasn't destroyed your marriage.
No, I think that's what's kept it going.
Exactly. Yeah.
While
you're away,
it's careering towards the rocks.
How about you, Mike? Do you enjoy the road, being out there with your dad?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my whole life. That's what I do. So this has been really weird, but it kind of, I mean, in a way, this is kind of like, because we did a show out in Mexico on March the 12th, which is kind of the weekend when this really kind of hit in. And then Trump brought in the travel ban, so I ended up coming to see my girlfriend in New York. We kind of ended up getting married kind of 5 weeks ago to get around the.
Just kind of ended up, huh?
Yeah. It kind of, I mean, we were talking about it anyway. Obviously, I love it a bit, but this has kind of pushed us into getting it done. So yeah, so in that way, it's been good. But obviously, like everyone else who's in the business, there's no money coming in, and it goes out a lot quicker than it comes in. So
that's for sure.
I think it's just the not knowing, everyone not knowing what's going to happen, and we're making all these plans, but is it going to? I don't know. I'm still pretty positive at the moment, but it changes day to day.
I've always said, I'll never buy anything off Amazon because of their working practices. But now, every day, there's a knock at the door, There's a cardboard box.
It's really a new world, It's a new world, and a lot of us, a lot of people, especially, I don't want to say the older people, but have to get acclimated to what's going on now. Even my dad, who's going to be 88. It's like all the food gets delivered. He goes shopping online and things get delivered. It's a bit of a different world now.
The guy delivers our stuff. He said he's never been so busy in his life because everyone's kind of taken to online shopping.
Exactly, yeah.
Much easier than going out.
Our friend Julia Broyhill, is that Polish or is that Russian, Julia? Hi, friends. Congrats on the new Deep Purple album. Say that again?
She's from Ekaterinburg.
Oh, okay.
She now lives in Seattle.
Oh, okay. A friend of yours?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, friends.
Not that kind of friend.
Listen, I wasn't implying that. Don't be paranoid, rock guy. Don't be paranoid. I don't want to get you in trouble either.
No. I'm very good friends with her husband, Eric, and
congrats
on a lovely little son. We had breakfast in Seattle last year.
Bob Ezrin produced the new record, right?
He did, yes.
Tell us a little bit about working with Bob Ezrin, the amazing Bob Ezrin.
A hurricane is Bob Ezrin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he comes in a room and it's like having a sergeant major there, you know, stand to attention. I like that bit, don't like that bit. And he's the first person I've ever seen Steve Morse scared of, you know. I mean, Steve Morse is fearless about everything, except Bob Ezrin. And they have this wonderful relationship, as Mike will tell you, you know. They have these great arguments in the studio. It's so funny. They could have their own TV show.
And you've worked with him a few times. He worked on the last couple of records, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
No, he gave us a direction. Actually, you know, we were floundering a bit a few years ago. Where do we go from here? What are we trying to do? And he just said, "Do what you do. Do that thing you do." He heard us in Canada, the Massey Hall in Toronto, and he was blown away by it. And that was the first time in a long time that anybody had come back to see us and say, that was a great show. You know, we were kind of under the radar for such a long time. Yeah.
Well,
which is a good thing. I'm sure you'll agree sometimes. You know, because it reinforces what you do, doesn't it? You find out who you really are, I think. It's getting a bit deep. Go on, next question.
Yeah. Don't get heavy on me, brother. Don't get too heavy here, man. You know, we don't deal with politics here, and we don't want to deal with anything. We like to keep it pretty superficial.
Yeah.
But you know, for those that may not know who Bob Ezrin is really one of the most incredibly proficient producers of all time. He produced all the early Alice Cooper records, the Kiss records, Pink Floyd, The Wall. You know, I mean, this guy's resume is staggering. The amount of stuff that he's done through the years, and he's still working constantly,
all the time. Yeah,
all the time. So,
and he's working while he's working.
Yeah,
when he's working with us, he's also on the phone to somebody else, typing instructions. I mean, he's full pelt all the time. It's amazing to watch him. And he doesn't miss a trick, doesn't miss anything. And I think Mike was, the first time we worked with him, Mike was taken aback by his abrasive manner.
Yeah,
is that right, Mike?
I'd really never met anyone, you know, he comes into a room, everything's now, you know, do this, you know, and for me, I was like, whoa, who is this guy? You know, like, I remember like the first time we moved from the rehearsal room into the studio, and he'd kind of drawn a little map out on a bit of paper, which I followed to the letter, exactly what he'd asked, you know, where he wanted the drums, where he wanted the guitars, etc. He came in and was like, no, this is all wrong. Where I kind of got the bit of paper out and showed it to him, and well, I guess that is kind of what I told you. So, you know, but me and him now, you know, we've now got like a really good relationship, and, you know, I kind of on a more, you know, when I first met him, I was very nervous of him, I guess. And
me too. Still am.
Yeah. So, you know, it took a little while to kind of get used to that, but obviously to work with, you know, Deep Purple and people like that, you know, it's an amazing learning experience, and you don't realize how much you're learning all the time. I think it's important to always, you know, ask questions. You know, there's no such thing as a silly question, because that's the only way you learn. So
absolutely. And so Mike and Lou, how did Mike, you get introduced to
I first met Armin in Prague. Actually, we were on a solo tour of Dad's, and RTM was friends with, I think, the guy who was doing merch for you, Lou.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things. I met him, you know, growing up as a huge Sick of It All fan. It was kind of like, oh my God, you know, wow, you know, meeting Armin, and then kind of got talking, and then he found out who Dad was, and he's like, oh my God. So it's weird, like, what? He's my dad. Why are you know? But he kind of gave me his number. He said, you know, if you're ever in New York, kind of hit me up and whatever. You know, I thought, you know, I probably won't end up going to New York. If I do it, you know, it's usually in and out on a show. Then I met Brandy, was there. I thought, oh, I'll give him a text. Not expecting really to get a reply. And the next thing is like, yeah, we'll meet up. And kind of that was how, you know, our friendship grew. And then through him, you know,
yeah,
Lou, and Craig and Pete, and just, you know, so I've been out to see the guys when we've been on tour. There's been a few occasions we've had a day off where they've been playing, like in Chicago. So when I made the trip over, when they're in London, and so it's kind of just one of those organic things. I meet up with Craig and we sit in Starbucks and shoot the shit for a few hours. That's
what Craig does. He's the mayor. He's the mayor of Starbucks on Bell Boulevard.
Somehow you got on the short list of background vocalists.
I did.
There you go.
What does it take to get on that list, by the way?
What'd you say?
What does it take to get on that list?
I don't know. Who's ever friends with Jerry Farley, our producer?
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Don, you know, I listened to the new Deep Purple record, and I was pleasantly surprised when I came across the last track on the record is in fact the very first track that Deep Purple recorded on their very first record 52 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
What's the background on that? How'd that come about?
I don't know. I think we were a track short or something. And the record company suggested, you know, it'd be a nice thing to do. The first thing the band ever played, it might be the last as well. So, I mean, it was no big deal. We spent a bit of time learning it, and then one or two takes, and that was it. I didn't think much. It's a great thing to play.
Yeah, it was interesting. I'm like, this song sounds familiar. I know this song, and then sure enough, that was the lead-off track on the first Deep Purple record all those years ago. You also played on the big Whitesnake record, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that record. To call that record a blockbuster would be a gross understatement. I mean, that is, I think, is one of the biggest selling records of all time. Tell us a little bit about playing on the Whitesnake record.
Yeah, I think it was called 87, wasn't it? But it was actually made in 85. That's when I worked on it. I just flew out to Vancouver, actually, and I was on a plane that caught fire. So it turned back just as it reached Canada. No, we're halfway in the Atlantic. So I turned back and went to London. So I spent 2 days in the air getting to this session. But it was great. I was only there 4 or 5 days. But there was a bit in Still of the Night, you know, when there was just this big hole. I said, John Sykes, I said, what happens here then? And John said, you do. So I just had to fill it up with, and we came up with that cello thing. And John,
nice.
John was fantastic. I must say, he was absolutely on fire.
We're big John Sykes fans, right, Lou? I mean, we're big John Sykes fans, man. Yeah. You know,
I've known John since he was 18. He was in a band called Tigers of Pantang.
Yeah, of course.
They used to support Rainbow when we were up in the northeast of England, and I've known him since then. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Tigers of Pantang. We remember that.
And now we're talking.
Now we're getting there. Motorhead.
Now we're getting into it.
Yeah, Motorhead. You know, that's well. Here's a little tie-in. Here's a little tie-in as I exercise my brain here. Motorhead. Brian Johnson.
Robertson.
Brian Robertson from Thin Lizzy. You played on some Thin Lizzy stuff, didn't you, Don?
I'm not sure, actually.
Okay.
I went to a
How
session.
Amazing is that?
You went to a session?
Yeah, and I did one quick overdub on a string machine to a song called Sarah. And I had another session across the road, so I had to say, right, I'll see you later, I'll come back. And so I did this other session, came back in, and they played the track, but they'd taken me off it and put Huey Lewis on. Huey Lewis lived in England then. He was called Huey Louie.
And what did he do?
Huey Louie, and he had a band called Clover. But he played harmonica.
That's right. Clover, yeah. Right.
So he played harmonica on it. And it was fantastic. I said, God, that's wonderful. So you don't need me. Yeah.
You got bumped. You got bumped for
Gary goes, yeah, you're fired.
Oh,
Gary
yeah.
used to say that to me every other day, though.
Yeah, Thorsten says, "Wow, I never knew that Don played on that Whitesnake record." Yeah, he did, and he's all over it, man. And Larry says, "How do you forget you played with Thin Lizzy?" Oh, there you go. Listen, you guys who travel the world, who tour the world, who've a bunch of times. Let me ask each one. I'll ask you, the three of you, any places in the world that when you see it on the itinerary that you just love going to, that really resonate. Let's start with you, Don. You've been around the world many times doing this thing. Are there any places that really resonate for you?
Yeah. Japan.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's amazing there, especially when you go there for the first time. If you're in a big band, it's mind blowing. Because I went there with Rainbow, and Graham Bonnet and myself found ourselves, kind of teen idols. We had no idea. We used to get chased all over the place. I remember we went shopping in an arcade. We took a taxi from the Prince Hotel, just me and Graham, to buy some presents, And they said 38 taxis followed us, each crammed with Japanese girls. We had to run for our life down this arcade.
Wow. What year was this?
In Tokyo, about 1980. Wow. And
1980,
run for it. And the tour manager used to carry this roll of compressed cardboard. I often wondered what it was for. I thought it was to put our posters in, but it was to keep the girls off. He used to turn around and go, and all these little girls would be going,
like a stun gun, like a cattle prods.
Yeah, it was like a cattle prod, but he just give him a gentle tap.
That's great.
Graham and I got back in the taxi, went back to the hotel without our presents,
And Lou, what about you? I mean,
I was gonna say Japan too. That's
really?
one of my I love Japan.
I mean, especially for our kind of music, it's just
it's amazing.
Cool. And
Mike, the last thing you expect, isn't it? You think they'll sit there going,
no, it's great.
It's so into it,
Yeah.
Teen idols. Do you get that? Do you get that in Japan too, Lou? You and your brother and Craig,
the funniest thing was the only times like that it was before the show. Me and Pete went to a shopping arcade and we were walking, and we stopped at the bottom of an escalator to let these two girls go past us, and they were like a few steps ahead of us, and all of a sudden they turned around and started screaming because they realized who we were. And we were like, shh, it's okay. We mostly get 40-year-old men coming up to us.
Yeah, right. There you go. Yeah, it's another world. Another world. Mike, how about you? What do you love out there, out on the road?
Yeah, I mean, Japan obviously is an amazing place. I really love Buenos Aires. I think that's just it's just a cool vibe. I like it there.
Yeah,
but I just love travel. Getting to go to all these places I never dreamed I'd get to go. It's pretty incredible, and I'm very, very lucky. And I do appreciate kind of I've had to work very hard. Obviously, when I started working for Dad, there was a lot of people that you're only here because of your dad, etc., etc. So I kind of had to really kind of prove people wrong, if you know what I mean. So,
yeah.
He got the job the first day. He'd only been on a day, and
how did you start working for your dad? Was it? Did you ease into it, or was it?
His roadie had another gig come up, and he basically said to me, "You're gonna have to come in and do 2 weeks." And I said, "Well, I haven't ever, obviously I play guitar and I've always fiddled around with guitar, but I haven't got a clue." So I come into this Black Island rehearsal room in Fulham, I think, in London. Full stage set, it was a new album cycle. And I'm looking around kind of like, oh my God, what have I got into here? And his tech was there for the day, so quickly showed me through, lovely guy, but didn't really, this is how this works, this is how, and I'm trying to make notes, etc. And
right.
And then 2 days later, the manager called me up into the office And at the time, he used to smoke cigars, and he kind of had his foot almost up on the desk. He was like, "You want the gig?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm here for 2 weeks." He's like, "No, if you want it, it's yours." And I can remember saying, "Well, I'll have," I remember ringing people going, "I've been offered the show. Should I do it or not?" And they're like, "What are you thinking about? Just say yes." So, and it would, like I say, a very steep learning. I remember the first show, literally sitting there like,
Wow.
it was petrifying.
It's stressful, man. That's a stressful gig. It's like, I mean, I'm sure there's been incidents where the power has been disrupted and things.
There's been some horrible things happen. Yeah,
Ugh.
I still have nightmares about them. But
that is really.
When was that rainstorm? It was in.
one in Republic. Zaragoza in Spain, big festival. It was a Monsters of Rock thing because Maiden were on the next night and they cancelled the whole festival.
Right.
But yeah, there was flight cases on their ends, like not on wheels, that were flying. There's basically a hurricane came through, and the whole, the lighting rig came down. It was pretty horrific. There was like the spotlights hanging off their power cables and.
By Ted Nugent. Do you remember that? Ted Nugent used to be a bit where he put a headdress on. He was on before us, and he did he'd do a rain dance.
Oh.
No, I'm going to do the rain. Do the rain dance, and
the Motor City Madman.
I mean, well worked. But Mike found one of my cases a quarter of a mile from the.
Oh wow!
Wow.
I mean, they were pouring out, the drums and stuff. There was like 6 to 7 inches of water in it. It was horrific. But we didn't actually lose too much gear because we basically had the stuff was all put in the truck, and the next show it was an outdoor gig, and we didn't turn anything on. We just laid everything out, opened up the keyboards, did what we could.
Yeah.
For as long as we could, and then we had hair dryers and everything. We were trying to, when we turned it all on, there was only a few units that didn't work. So it was, but then further down the line, months later, there was weird stuff happening. And
right, electronics don't like to be treated like that.
Oh, no,
they don't like water.
And where was that?
That was in Zaragoza in Spain.
So here's a question from our friend Kevin Haggerty, who is a big supporter and formed the A7 Rampage Mosh crew. Don, how's your response when you play South America?
Oh, yeah, it's incredible. Yeah. I mean, especially Buenos Aires. You get a great reaction there. The crowd sing along word for word. And I always get a great response, when I do a keyboard solo, I'll play a tango in the middle of it, and the place just goes mad.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What do you have a favorite Deep Purple song? Like, do you like to cut loose on?
Bloodsucker.
I
love that one. Yeah.
Bloodsucker?
Bloodsucker, yeah. It's so concise. I mean, it's under 4 minutes, I think. But God, it packs a lot in.
That's all right.
Do you remember when we first did it, Mike? When I started playing it in soundcheck, and Gillen goes, "What's that song? I know it." I said, "Yeah, he wrote it in." It's called Bloodsucker. He said, "If you play that, I'll sing it." Said, okay, you got to do it. And we rehearsed it next day, and then he sang it. But the bit at the end where he screams, the last verse, when he did it live, do you remember you and me? I nearly fell down. The most amazing thing to hear.
Yeah, that's an oldie. That's from that's on Deep Purple in Rock.
It's in Rock, yeah.
Yeah, I think. Am I correct? Is that the first record that Ian Gillan sings on? I think is in Rock.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. It must be.
Yeah, and him and Roger came in for that album.
That's right.
Yeah.
And before that, it was Rod Evans.
Yeah.
And the bass player was Simpler.
Nick Simper.
What's it?
Nick Simper.
Nick Simpler, right?
Nick Simper. He's got a band called Bad Habits or something. He supported my band in Vienna. In Vienna. So we got him up to play Black Knight when we played Black Knight.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
How long ago was that?
And he was fantastic,
How long ago was that?
Oh, 3 or 4 years ago.
I think, not to get into this, but I think, Rod Evans, I'm pretty sure, actually went out as Deep Purple at a certain point, and that just set a whole bunch of litigation into motion. He tried to go out.
Produce a song. Why did you do it?
Oh yeah, right.
Why did you do it?
Right.
It's all about that, apparently.
That happens. You know, you better watch it, Lou. You know, so, you know, you're gonna get like you know, EK and Eddie Cohen going out as sick of it all. You know.
Oh, great.
Sick of everything.
Yeah. You know, be careful. Okay, so let's take some questions here. For you know, we're winding it down, but let's take some questions. Don, from all the guitarists you've played with throughout the years, who was your favorite player? I mean, that's a tough. I mean, I know you got to be nice to everybody, but be diplomatic, Don.
Tough question.
Yeah,
because they've all. It's been wonderful to work with these people. I must say, you know, you learn so much from all of them. But I think the guy I was closest to was Gary Moore. You know, because we're in a band when we were young men, so to speak, and we were very great friends when we were in that band. So, and he was just a genius. He was a troubled soul, Gary. I wish I could have done more to help him, actually. But you know, I think back on him I miss him terribly, really. He was such a brilliant player. He was very funny as well. You had to watch him. He had a fine line in humour. You know.
Yeah. It's.
I said to him once, "What was it like working with Greg Lake?" He said, "Greg Lake." He said, "Man, he's great. He's very talented, but he'd go all the way around the world to borrow a cup of sugar from next door." That was Gary's, you know, summing up of Greg Lake.
That's awesome.
Gary Moore reminded me for a minute there of Rory Gallagher. Remember Rory Gallagher?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's one of my. He was really something else. He was incredible. Here's a question, Don. How was it like? How was it working with Judas Priest on the track "Touch of Evil" from the Painkiller record? Now I know a little bit about that history. I mean, I think you played on a lot of those tracks, but that's really the predominant track that they released that you play on, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's a long time ago. We were in a chateau in Jacques Lucier's chateau in France. It was an amazing kind of place, beautiful studio. And, you know, I worked on all the tracks, actually. So that was that was the only one really where they let me loose, so to speak. Mm. But I've been great friends with all of them ever since. It's, you know, like Sabbath, just lovely people.
Yeah.
Especially that wonderful singer of theirs.
Yeah, Gary Moore gets a lot of love, man. People really, you know, people that love, you know, this genre of music really are in the know. Really love Gary Moore. You know, he really.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Once when we were on tour we had a 4-piece brass section, so I wrote out a jazz standard called "Stolen Moments." Mm-hmm. Just for fun, just to play on the sound check, because the brass section, it was the same as on the Oliver Nelson record. So Gary walks in halfway through this and says, "Oh, yeah, what's going on here then?" I said, "Oh, it's just a bit of jazz. We're playing jazz standard." Whoa. I said, "It's a classic." "All right, then let's do it." So we start playing it and he joins in. He picks it up so quick. He did a wonderful jazz solo in it. And at the end, all the brass section go, "Oh, shit, he plays jazz as well." He said, "Nothing he can't."
Wow. All right.
Great.
Good. Hey, let me give me 1 second. Let me shout out the sponsors. We'll take a couple more questions and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah. What's
happening, boys and girls from around the world? It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles live 50th show. Who would have thunk it? Our guests today are Don Airey, Mike Airey, and the infamous Lou Kohler. our hometown cooking, Lou Kohler. The show is sponsored by the Texas Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, Organic Grill, and of course, New York Hardcore Comics. Anybody out there We could always use your support. Please join us on Patreon. Come be a patron on Patreon. Go check it out. That's what enables these shows to happen. We're releasing all kinds of never before seen footage and other stuff on Patreon. So please come, jump on board, join us, join our coven on Patreon. And a couple of shows coming up. Just want to remind everybody that this Sunday is Queens, New York Represent. Oh, nope, that's not this Sunday, actually. Oh, hold your horses, everybody. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Oh, I guess I got bamboozled. Oh, let's just go to this guy here. Alan Robert. Alan Robert is coming up this Sunday. So check him out. And took a while to get that going. And then actually the next show is Mike DeJean. And then Alan Robert. And then Charlie from Gorilla Biscuits. And then Phil Caivano from Monster Magnet. We got him coming up. Philly Caivano, Monster Magnet, Blitzbier, Murphy's Law, and Shrapnel. And then another great New York Queens boy, Joe Songo from Outburst. You know what? Hold on. I got to get, where's the Mikey DeJean show? Because everybody's excited about the Mike DeJean show. Here we go. This Sunday, Astoria Queens Represent, Mike DeJean. So everybody tune in for that. We love Mike DeJean. Want to thank everybody for 50 shows. All my patrons, all the PayPal people, all the sponsors, everybody that made this show a success. It's been an awesome ride. And show's not going to go anywhere. It's a success. What's your rush? What's your rush? Yes, can't wait for it. Not sure what it is, but good. I'm glad you can't wait for it. But all right, good. So there you go. Let's continue on our quest. Any questions that you have for any of our guests, please post them. And we'll bring the whole gang on in a little bit. Thanks for watching 50 shows. Absolutely. Can you believe it? Time flies. Time flies when you're in a global pandemic and the economy is crashing. It's amazing what you can do with yourself. So let's bring on what's up, bro?
Hey, how's it going?
Is everything okay out there?
Yeah, everything's good. It's a little bit of a thunderstorm, but it's all right.
Doing?
It's doing good. People are loving it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
I was surprised. I thought people would be like, but yeah, people love it. People have been sending us messages and all that they think it's really funny, blah, blah, blah. Some people like it to be longer. I like a short book. I'd rather just read it and get it over with.
Look, Jeff from Rage says, I love that Lou represents metal.
Hell yeah, look at that shirt.
Oh, there you go. Let's bring let me bring the other guys on. Hey Don, when are you gonna write a book, man?
Yeah, I'm kind of half writing it all the time, but my career keeps going on. That's the trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm only halfway through. I've been going through all the itineraries.
Is that right?
I've got everything. I have all the itineraries from every tour. It makes amazing reading.
You've got everything, every room.
Really?
That's great.
Everything.
Is that?
It's like.
Do you? Is that something you picked up from your dad? Do you keep everything, Mike?
I'm pretty good at keeping stuff, but yes, I mean that's going to be a huge job. When he does retire, to go through all that stuff, and
yeah,
it's real piece of history. When he says he keeps everything, he means everything.
Well, that's right. You're gonna have to do volumes. You could do volume 1 now.
Volume 1
still touring.
Volume 1 the early days.
Yeah.
Let me see. Here's a nice one, Don. What's the secret to being a keys player in a rock band? Is there anybody following in your footsteps that you like? That's a good question. Have you seen anybody from the younger generation come up that you like?
I mean, there's a guy called Corey Henry, but he's a funk merchant. Don't know whether you've heard of him. Absolutely brilliant player, wonderful Hammond player, wonderful synth player. You know, you only get someone like him once every 30 years. But actually, in the rock field, there aren't very many keyboard players that I can think of anymore.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Probably Jordan and.
Oh well, of course, Jordan Rhodes. Yeah, but he's been around as
Who's
long as
that,
I
Mike?
have now.
I was just saying, probably Jordan Rhodes from Dream Theater.
That's what was coming to mind. Dream Theater.
Yeah.
He actually stepped in for Dad in the show in March because Dad was.
Is that right?
Yeah, he came in. We just did one-off festival, so that was quite interesting. But he brought his own tech in, thank God, because he had this whole Pro Tools rig and everything. You know, I was like, yeah, I can deal with that. And then they sent the spec through, and I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. So luckily he brought his own guys. So I actually ended up looking after Roger because his tech didn't want to fly because of the, he didn't want to risk it because it was actually Mickey Lee Soul who was the original keyboard player of Rainbow. Coming back in, he's been Roger's tech for years now, but he's an old git as well, so they didn't want to risk it.
Sharon and Sons of Apollo. Okay.
Oh yeah. Derek
Yeah.
Sharon would be another one. Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that band really.
Oh, I've seen a bit of them. Is that with Billy Sheehan?
Yeah.
Billy
Oh,
Sheehan.
that's right. That's the Billy Sheehan band. Oh, good. Good.
And
Going, Don.
what's his name? Portnoy. Mike Portnoy.
Yeah, Mike Portnoy.
Yeah, it's pretty good, I tell you.
Mike on point.
Is it Scott Soto? God, look at my knowledge here.
That's impressive. Don and Mike, who do you guys listen to lately other than bands you work with? Doesn't have to be like Don, do you listen to music other than when you're playing it? I know some people don't, you know. What do you throw on these days? What tickles your fancy?
I can see Mike going, don't tell them. No. I'm quite a big Billie Eilish fan. I think she's amazing. So I've listened to her quite a bit. I listen to a lot of old stuff. You know, I listen to Hendrix a lot now.
Good.
It sounds fresher now than it did back then.
That's right.
Hendrix was amazing. I never saw him. I could have, but didn't. Isn't that?
Ooh. That hurts.
Yeah. Well, he was known as the Wild Man of Rock.
Yes.
You know, I play classical piano. I don't think I want to see that kind of thing.
That's funny.
That's great.
Lou, what do you listen to? Sorry, go ahead.
I saw Deep Purple as well when I was at music college, and I came out going, "I want to do that."
That's awesome.
Did you really?
Yeah. Oh my word!
Do you remember where they played?
It was Salford in Manchester. Salford, yeah.
And that was the original band with Rod Evans and.
No, I'm not sure. I think it was Gillan. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I just really remember Pacey and Richie and John. I'd never heard a keyboard player do that before. You know. Were you exposed? I mean, I'm sure you were, but exposed to like Rick Wakeman in that regard. Was he a contemporary? I mean, I know Rick quite well. He's a lovely guy. Amazing player, amazing musician. Yeah, quite a friend. I don't know. All the people I really liked were people like Chick Corea and Jimmy Smith, the jazz organist, Jan Hammer, who played with the Marvin.
Jeff Beck.
Yeah.
Those Jeff Beck records are incredible.
Yeah, and the Mahavishnu Orchestra to me were just an incredible band at the time. It's all so long ago now.
What are you listening to? Anything coming across your radar screen while you're in
that's Sons of Apollo. Yeah. I thought I expected it to be terrible, but it was great.
Well, that's good. That's good.
What are you listening to, Bill?
I was like what Don was saying, where like how Hendrix sounds fresher now, or I've been revisiting Rush. I haven't listened to Rush you know, on and off, but we were really into Rush when we were like 12 and 13.
Yeah.
And I'd just been going back. It started with my favorite 2112 and the live record All the World's a Stage, and then I went and put on Moving Pictures, and what a record. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
incredible.
It's good stuff. And I've never
wonder how
really
they did it. You wonder how they did it.
yeah, and I never really got into the later stuff like
Signals
Vapors.
and all that?
Yeah,
Vapors,
Signals, but
yeah.
I listened to Vapors just the other day and I was like, whoa, it still got it. You know, that was such a great record. And I never listened to it.
Yeah, Nick Savage is Fly By Night. That's one of my favorites. I think that's their second record, and boy,
that was the first one with Neil Peart. Yeah,
that one really resonated with me as growing up. That one really resonated with me as a kid growing up in the Bronx.
I once did a session in LA, and the producer was Eddie Kramer.
Yeah.
You know, Hendrix's producer.
Yeah,
the session went by pretty quick, so there was a bit of time left. And I said, do you mind if I ask you a couple of things about Hendrix? He said, no, far away. So he told me all kinds of things. But I was asking him about the sound on Voodoo Child. You know, the way the guitar seems to spread between the speakers right into the far corners of the room. It's extraordinary. He said, I could tell you, but I'll have to kill you. But he said, I'll show you. So I went back on the Hammond. And I was just playing. Can you hear the? Yeah, okay. He said, right, I'll bring. He had a black box. I don't know what was, and he brought this in. And the sound, my Hammond never sounded better. It was amazing. And I've still got the tape. It's called Concerto for Eddie Kramer. And he was just he had the same black box that he was using with Hendrix. And, you know, one of his production tricks. But
Mike, what do you anything coming across your radar screen?
I mean, we were talking about this the other day. I mean, I tend to still listen. You know, the hardcore that I'm listening to is all, you know, Sick of It All, Agnostic Front, Madball. I mean, I like the new Turnstiles, you know, the newer Turnstile stuff.
That's good. The new Turnstile record's good.
You know, and a lot of the London bands, which I love as well. You know, I play in a band, so we play with a lot of those guys. We're lucky enough to support Madball, Agnostic Front. We still haven't yet with Sick of It All. Maybe one day.
Well, you have to bring your guys to the States and come play the A7, man.
Yeah, we'll do it. We can, if anyone wants to check it out, you can. We're on.
There you go. What's that? Talk about that.
Impact, strength through loyalty. There you go.
Nice. And you sing?
I've been to the gigs, you know. I go and just feel very old and stand in the corner going, as all these people careened about the room, you know. Mike took me to see Slayer in.
Wow! Tell us about that. What did you think of Slayer, Don?
Oh, fantastic! I didn't quite understand all of it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. God, it was loud though. I think the loudest band I've ever heard. Slayer. Yeah.
Wow. It took me a long time to warm up to Slayer. It did. But I could certainly appreciate them. Lou, you always loved Slayer, right?
Oh yeah. I remember the first time when they came to the East Coast, there was maybe 150 of us, and then the second time they came, you couldn't get tickets for, you know, couldn't even get in there, you know.
Amazing, man.
Yeah.
We went backstage and met him. And again, I mean, the sweetest guys, you know.
Yeah. Tom is a great guy.
Tom, what a lovely man.
He's amazing.
Yeah. He looks like the king of the mountains when he's on stage.
Yeah. And I love in between songs, they play these songs, and then afterwards he's like, "Thank you."
Yeah.
Thank you. Like
the great thing.
I love the bit. My favorite bit of the show was where he came forward to speak to his people.
Yeah.
And everybody goes quiet.
This is amazing.
That's great. Hey, here's a question from our friend Robert Hogg in Scotland. Mike, what UK hardcore punk bands are you into?
I'd probably say, you know, the usual suspect, you know, like your Knuckle Dust, Bummed Him Out, great bands. Another band that our drummer Rory plays in, Prowler. A lot of the London LBU stuff. It's kind of 9 Bar. Yeah. Again, it's just you know, the usual suspects.
Yeah.
But there's May there. I think I said Knuckle Dust first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Those guys are very good to us, you know, Pierre, and they look after, you know, the Ruction Record guys are They're great guys.
And your band is Impact, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And
Yeah.
do you sing?
No, I play guitar.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't want to hear me sing.
Who sings for Impact?
So my good man Ian McWhinney.
Okay. Good.
He's the most unlikely looking heavy metal singer you've ever seen.
Is that right?
He's great. Just weird throaty thing.
Getting a little response there. But hey, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. We had a couple of laughs and we had some fun, and that's really what it's all about, you know?
It's been a great thank you, Drew.
Yeah. Let me bring on my droogs, and let me bring on Sid the Kid and Ratbones and Steven. What do you say, Ratbones?
What's up, guys?
Did you enjoy yourself, Ratbones?
What a great show, man. You know, it really took me back to being a kid. Like the music, this guy's influence in my life is like incredible. So it was an honor hearing you speak, and really take us on a journey. You know, it was really cool.
Yeah, it was a great show. Sid, did you learn anything?
Oh, a hell of a lot. Definitely. Some stuff that I didn't even know about him from his past, especially even with Judas Priest and Whitesnake. I was like, damn.
Oh, you managed to impress Sid the Kid. That's big, right, Lou?
Yeah.
Steven, where are you? Where what's going on out there? Where are you? On? Let me guess. You're waiting
I'm
for
at Woodside.
Woodside
Station. Yeah, waiting for the train to go home. And actually, I just got to Jamaica, actually. I have to change at Woodside. In fact, my train is coming. But just amazing. This is, these are stories of like records I've been into since I was 11. And just being able to be a part of this is amazing. And I mean, I just got to see Don with Deep Purple and Judas Priest. Was it last summer with Jones Beach?
Yeah, you sent me one of those. Hold on.
And just fantastic. Oh, I got an M9 coming in too.
You sent me one of those, right?
Oh, I did. I sent you a couple, I think, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. There he goes. Ian Gillan and Don right there. All right, Steven, get home safe, man.
All right, here we go.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Be good.
You know, it's always a little sketchy with Steven when he's out there, you know, and I'm glad he gets paid to come on my show. You know, I'm glad the New York City transit system is paying him while he comes on my show. But hey, Don, how was this tour you did with Judas Priest?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was very successful. You know, both bands got on. I've known them forever, of course. Love their new guitarist.
Yeah.
Richard.
There you are.
Fantastic player. Yeah, it was great seeing that.
Fantastic.
We all loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was it. That was out of Jones Beach.
Rob Halford around. There's never a dull moment, you know.
Got it.
Funny
All
guy.
right. Ratbones, Sid, I'll see you guys later.
Let me say something to Lou real quick, Drew.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll do a little. Your book is definitely Ratbones approved, Lou. And I really like you come out real strong on the cover, and then in sick of it all fashion, you're like, see you next time. Like, I like that you guys do that kind of stuff. It really makes it cool. The book is great so far. And and both of the Airey's, Don and Mike, it was a great show. And your music has touched my life ever since I was a teenager. I mean, all those songs, if you weren't in the 70s and had the double cassette with like Black Sabbath, We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll on one side of your double cassette and Physical Graffiti on the other side, what were you doing that summer? So, this show took me back to like being a kid and what rock and roll means to us all. You know what I mean? So great show, man. Great times.
Thank you, Ratbones. Listen, you're a big part of what makes this show great. I'll talk to you soon.
See you next time. Come out on Saturday, people in the city.
All right. Hey, Sid.
Yo.
Say a quick goodbye and don't take up a lot of airspace.
Well, guys, thank you everybody for just letting me be a part of this. It's been 50 great episodes, and it gets better every time. And Drew's obviously the big cornerstone of this. That's all I got to say about it. It's just been great being part of it, and I just can't wait to see what he has, up in store for every week.
Listen, don't try to butter me up, bro. But
I don't butter up. I tell it like it is.
Don't kiss my ass, bro. It'll only make you despise. It'll only make me despise you more. So
really,
no, I'm just kidding. Listen, Sid, like Rap Bones, you're a big part of what makes this show great. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And thank you so much for being a part of it. We've done 50 shows, and we're gonna keep on. We're gonna keep on space trucking.
Damn right.
I'll talk to you later, Sid.
All right, cheers, guys.
Take care.
Look, I give my guys a hard time, but I love them, man. I'm like Bob Ezrin. I'm like I fucking I really go off. Hey, Mike and Don, thank you so much, man. I can't thank you enough.
Pleasure. Nice.
Thanks for having us.
Anything? Don? Anybody you want to thank or say goodbye to on the way out?
No, there's so many people, I couldn't mention them all here. I couldn't possibly.
Well, pick up the new Deep Purple record, Whoosh, right?
Yeah, that's the thing to do. Yeah,
that's the thing.
Doing well, apparently.
Yep. And Mike, anybody? Your lovely wife? Your lovely wife? Come on.
Well, my lovely wife Brandy should be watching. Love you lots, and my little boy Kyle, who's somewhere in the house as well. He's watching his grandpa. And his dad. So, hey, Carl, probably time for bed now, mate.
All right. Thank you, Aries, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take care.
Do Hammond for me, would you?
No, I will.
It's you and me now, bro.
What's going on? That was great. I didn't want to interrupt. I had so many geeky questions,
Listen, I did my homework for this guy, man. I've been up since 7 a.m, doing homework, and I learned so much. Who knew?
I didn't know that he was on, it's like the Judas Priest record or the White Snake.
Evil. If you that Touch of Evil song is all keyboards in the beginning. That's him. Also, we didn't even get into Katrina and the Waves. He did a whole big thing with Katrina and the Waves. Listen, that White Snake record, all those keyboards, Go Again and all that. It goes on and on. We didn't even get into Andrew Lloyd Webber, and I listened to the whole Black Sabbath Never Say Die record this morning, though. and I listened to all the Graham Bonnet Rainbow shit this morning. That stuff is good, man.
Yeah.
So
what was the with Jolyn Turner record? That one after
that was the record after that. That was difficult to cure.
That was a big record in the States.
Yeah.
Oh, probably everywhere.
Super commercial record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did some Beethoven song on there, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Tim Fubar says, "You will never see Lou silenced like that again." Oh, you know what we didn't do? He did Uli John Roth. We didn't bring that up.
Oh, yeah?
Chucky asks, can he still buy the Sick of It All book? No, Chucky, that's it. That's it. They sold a couple of them, and then they took the plates and they threw them in the ocean. So, that's where can they buy the Sick of It All book, Lou?
Just Amazon or wherever you're at, like that, whatever it's like Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and Generation Records, Cortex in Germany.
Right.
Yeah. It's called the internet. It's a new
listen.
invention.
All right, hold on. Let me bust this shot. There's a thing called the internet, and there's something on it now called Amazon. Yeah. So,
all right. If they don't want to go through Amazon, you could go through any local bookstore and get them to get it through the,
Glenny Henriquez Tavares. Is that a friend of yours?
No.
Amazon still has them. All right.
Yeah, Amazon has them. She
would know. I remember the Joe Lynn Turner Malmsteen record Odyssey. Okay. You want to know something about Joe Lynn Turner? Interesting little tidbit about Joe Lynn Turner is that Joe Lynn Turner did voiceover stuff, and my dad, he did some voiceover stuff, some commercials with my dad. And one day my dad calls me, he's like, hey, you know this guy, Joe Turner, plays in a band called Purple, something Purple? I'm like, what? I'm like, Joe Turner from Deep Purple? Like, what? doing like radio spots with my dad for like, electronics,
That's pretty awesome.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah. So Lou, Gina B says, Lou, I hope it's been a success to you and your brother.
Yeah, so far it's good. Like I said, people are liking it. That's all you can ask.
Is there going to be a spoke
the audiobook?
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah.
We've been discussing it with the company, and then they insist on having a professional reader. They don't think me and Pete could read our own book.
Oh, here, fingers crossed, narrated by Stigma.
See, that's the thing. If we had the money, we could have a whole bunch of characters coming in.
Right.
Yeah.
Why would they not want you and your brother to narrate the book on you? That sort of doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I don't know. And Howie took it to 2 other companies to try and see if we can get it on our own.
Oh, I see. That's a totally separate thing.
Yeah.
I got it. Well, all right, man. Hey, thanks a million for coming on the 50th show. You're a good friend.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations. It's good.
It's good, man. Don't worry.
The Dijon show. That's going to be a good one.
Hey, listen. You're always welcome. You're like a frequent flyer. The Dijon show's coming up. I got all the Astoria, all the Queens guys are going to be chiming in. It's going to be a circus.
Oh, it's going to be wild.
Oh, here you go. Ask Don Airey to narrate the book.
Sure.
Oh, that's great, man. That's fucking great. All right, Lou. I'll talk to you later, man. Say hello.
Congratulations, man. I will.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards. Want to shout out Pitchfork as well. All our friends, of course, Rat Bones, Stephen Messina, and Sid the Kid. That was great, man. Great show. Thank you, Larry Kelly. Vegan show. Yeah, Whitney, we'll get to a vegan show for sure. Oh, wait. Thank you very much for not butchering my very Spanish name. You got it. Listen, and there you have it. Exactly. And there you have it. That's it. Once again, thank you, everyone. It's been a great ride. It will continue to be a great ride. Thank you, Gregor. Thank you, May. Thank you, everyone around the world. You've all made this thing really special. I will see you on Sunday with Mike DeJean. Until then, do good things, and good things will come to you.